These three things were holding me back in my business for so long. Here's how I fixed them. As an entrepreneur, you are juggling so many different things in a day. You're wearing so many different hats. And especially if we're a solopreneur, we're doing everything by ourselves. I know I have felt this way in many of my businesses over the years. And so sometimes we'll say, well, how could a mindset shift bring you the consistent success that you actually want? So a lot of times we think about positive mindset and success mindset and all these things. But I discovered when I started looking back at where I was struggling the most, that these three things were what was holding my business back the most. But here's how I fixed them. The first thing that was holding me back in my real estate business was this. I feel like I'm bugging people. Does this sound familiar at all? We're taught to contact our sphere of influence. That means your friends and your family. We're taught to follow up consistently. Sometimes leads need to be contacted 7 to 14 times before they'll respond. That feels like bugging. We're told to make a client for life and nurture them year after year after year, and they bought a house 13 years ago. This was the number one thing that was holding me back in my real estate business. I felt like I was bugging everybody to death and they didn't want to hear from me. But that actually was a mindset shift. I had to decide that what I was providing people was actually valuable and deliver on that. I did things like reaching out to my past clients, my sphere of influence, with how to protect themselves from deed fraud in Maricopa County, where I live in Arizona. That was a really helpful resource that a lot of people reached back out and said, thank you for sharing that with me. I had to provide important market information. I had to provide information about their actual property. I live in a historic area. We can actually save a lot of money on our taxes by filing certain forms by being in a historic neighborhood. Things like that. I tapped into, I actually do have value and I have valuable things to share, and other people will want to know these things. Real estate's your largest investment many times in your entire life. So if I can find ways to help my clients protect that investment and to, take care of this thing that they spent a whole lot of money on over many, many years and help them transition as they're buying and selling into other properties, that is valuable. So that was the first one. I am not bugging people. I am providing value and then delivering on that value. The second thing that was holding me back in my real estate business was that I didn't feel like a natural salesperson. I didn't really come from sales. I did retail when I was a teenager, but I never sold in retail. I felt like I provided great customer service and I shared my own experience, and that was how I sold products in retail. So I went about it in a different way that felt natural to me. So for years, I'm like, I don't want to sell people a house, and I feel like I'm selling and I'm being salesy, and it was so uncomfortable. But then I realized, I'm not selling you. I don't care which house you buy. As long as I am guiding you, educating you, and helping you with pros and cons to protect your investment, your money, that's my role. I'm not selling you on this house or that house. Your preferences are your preferences. You might like something that I would never choose for myself. But as long as I'm giving you all of the facts, making sure that you are well educated and well informed throughout the entire process, I'm not actually selling you, I'm serving you. And that felt so much better. The third thing that was holding me back was not approaching my real estate business as if I'm in it for the long haul. Real estate isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not how you can approach this industry. It takes a lot of hours of education and way more years of experience than anyone tells you. And being a book learner myself, you can't learn it all from a book. You have to learn it by doing. That was a huge lesson when I was starting out, was just getting thrown into the fire and figuring it out as I go. That was a big piece of it. The second piece of it was a lot of it was very transactional. Oh, I found a seller, I helped them, I sold their home, done. I found a buyer, I helped them buy a home, done. It doesn't work like that. That is a transactional approach to the real estate business, but we want to have a relational approach. That is back to number one, how I was getting tripped up on not wanting to bug people when I was following up with them. If you approach the entire business for the long play, it will become relational, you will connect more, and you'll really enjoy your clients that you're working with and want to follow up with them and want to check on how things are going and want to provide more resources and referrals and helpful things for them in their home. It's a totally different approach. If you look at real estate as if you're going to build this for 5, 10, 15 years, you'll approach your entire business plan differently. So those are the 3 things that were really holding me back in my business and the mindset shifts that it took for me to start achieving consistent success. I would love to hear, have any of those bothered you in your business? Have you struggled with any of those? Feel free to drop a comment below or send me a message. I'd love to connect with you and learn more about your business too. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. I provide valuable tools and resources to anyone who's in real estate or entrepreneurial in any way. I would absolutely love to help your business grow any way that I can. Feel free to reach out, drop me a line, throw a comment below. I'd love to meet you.